Faith for Today with Colin Urquhart and Julia Fisher.
The gift of faith, the gift of miraculous powers, the gifts of healings, as you were talking about last week, Colin. We are, of course, talking about the gifts of the Holy Spirit and how they are available for all of us. We're looking at Paul's letter to the Corinthians and chapter 12.
Yes, I like the NIV in so many ways, but there are some occasions when I don't think it translates the Greek strictly enough, really. And I mentioned that it's gifts of healings. Both words are in the plural in the original Greek. And here, another miraculous powers. I don't like that because it gives the impression that, some have got a sort of a power that is theirs to work miracles. And the gift is actually the working of miracles. Now, remember, I've been saying that these gifts are available to all of us. Not all of us will manifest all the gifts all the time, but they are all available to us. At various times in my ministry, I need all of them. Now, what Paul is saying here is by the same Spirit, by the one Holy Spirit, there are the working of miracles. God does give to his children, through the Holy Spirit, the power to work miracles. Now, there are many different ways in which a person gets healed. Not everybody gets healed by an instantaneous miracle. But sometimes, when you pray with someone, there is an immediate, miraculous transformation in a person's circumstance. That's obviously a miracle. What is a miracle? A miracle is an invasion of the supernatural into our natural. It is God doing something that could never be accomplished through our natural powers, but only through his supernatural grace and power. Now, that's not necessarily great things. God intervenes in all kinds of small ways, which we perceive to be miraculous. I think there are a lot of supernatural events that Christians call miracles, because they are answers to prayer that just seem extraordinary in the way in which they happen. Let me give you an example. Supposing somebody has got a great financial need, and they're praying and they're laying this need before the Lord, and then on the last day that's possible, right out of the blue, from a source they never expected, a gift of money lands on their doormat, and they say, it's a miracle. And it's a miracle because it's an answer to prayer. Is it really a miracle? Well, in the sense that God stirred the heart of the person who sent the gift to send it when they did send it, and it was received just at the right time. So you can understand miracle as being a supernatural answer to prayer, like that. But I think really what Paul is talking about here is those working of supernatural events that could not take place in any other way. Jesus said, didn't he say, that anyone who has faith in me will do the same works that I have done, and greater things still will he do, because I go to the Father. Well, we know the miraculous events that Jesus performed. Most of his healings were miracles. They happened instantaneously. The raising of the dead was a miracle every time it happened. A supernatural intervention of God into the natural order of events. Jesus fed the 5,000 through a gift of multiplication of a boy's picnic. That was a miracle. Jesus walked on water. That was obviously a miracle. These are supernatural events that even suspend the natural order of things. They overrule the natural order. Now, I believe that Christians, through the Holy Spirit, it's not us deciding what to do or anything like that, but the Holy Spirit can enable the working of miracles in the lives of believers today.
You know, you hear about miracles in places like Ghana and the Far East, but we don't see many miracles on this sort of a level here, do we?
We don't see so many. They're happening, but we don't see so many because there isn't the expectation of them. But if you're in a culture where you either get a miracle or you die, you're going to have a much greater incentive to believe for a miracle because there's no medical help, or there's no money to pay for medical help, or whatever the situation may be. You're not going to be looking to the doctor, you're not going to be looking to the next course of injections or operation or whatever. You're going to be looking to God. It's God or nothing. So, that inspires a different kind of faith. It's the faith that needs a miracle. Otherwise, it's curtains, literally. So, I think that's why we hear of many more miracles happening in places like Africa than we do here.
There's no other option.
No, but you see, in London there are some black churches where people have come from areas of Africa where revival is happening. And they've got this vibrant faith. I love ministering in those churches. But they don't see so many miracles happening here as they saw back in Africa because there isn't the same expectation, the same need of miracles in our society and in our culture because we've got a medical profession and hospitals and help available to everybody. So you see the situation is different.
So what do we do in a situation like that? I mean, Jesus did talk about us moving mountains.
Yeah, but then I want to move on from the healings because the working of miracles is not just for healings, but it is using the authority and power that we have, the supernatural authority, supernatural power, to overcome. Now, sometimes we have to overcome the supernatural powers of darkness that are operating in a situation. So you see a miraculous change of circumstances, sometimes not just in a person, but in a whole group of people, because those people have been in bondage to some wrong or evil spirit, and some believer comes along and takes authority over the principalities and powers of darkness that have been operating in that situation. And you see a miraculous, a supernatural transformation in those people's lives. It may be through the breaking of curses. And we'll see there's another gift which we're going to move on to about the discerning of spirits, and I'll talk more about that when we come to that gift. But you see, the breaking of curses can lead to a miraculous change in a person's circumstances because this person has been under the power and influence of something evil, and now that power is broken over that person's life. So you see this supernatural intervention of God in so many different ways. I have seen the raising of the dead. Well, that is a miracle. I've seen this miracle of multiplication, where when we were first living in community and there were 21 of us living in our household, and every week my wife bought just a family-sized joint because that's all we could afford, And I used to carve this for 21 people every week and never even think of it as a miracle. I mean, it just seemed that you were carving meat. But there was enough for 21 people with some over. And no way can you feed 21 people from, a half shoulder of lamb or something like that. But yet this was the order of what God was doing. So, that's a supernatural intervention into the natural order of things. How does it happen? Nobody can explain, because if people could explain it, it wouldn't be a miracle. And that's why scientists and those that just go by a very rational line of thinking find it so difficult to accept miracles, because they're irrational, they're beyond reason, they are inexplicable. And there are some wonderful Christian scientists, but secular scientists, they want to be able to explain and reason everything. Therefore, the miraculous is totally outside their competence. They can't explain it, so they can't understand it. Therefore, they say that miracles don't exist. But I know that there will be many, many, many people listening to me at this moment that will know God does miracles today because they've experienced one. And that is the greatest authentication for this gift. Not that we believe that it's possible, but that so many people experience the manifestly miraculous intervention of God supernaturally in their natural circumstances.
You've been listening to Faith for Today, presented by Julia Fisher. This program is sponsored by Kingdom Faith. For further information, visit our website, kingdomfaith.com.